Yeah, let's talk about my actual favorite part, which was the Overwatch 2 trailer. And I was very surprised that it was my favorite part because I haven't played Overwatch since we came up against that team of six Torch Bjorns. Like what, 2.5 years ago, and never logged
Yeah.
back in ever again to this day. That was our last game of Overwatch. It was miserable. You couldn't even get close to the point. There were turrets everywhere. But anyway, I love the trailer. I've watched it, honest to God, 15 or so times since we've been home. I really, really think it's very well made. Genji is so badass in it, and I
Mm.
love Genji just from playing HOTS. But he's awesome in it. Reinhardt's really cool. I thought the music was great. Everything. I thought it was unique, original. I loved it.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
for
didn't.
like,
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave.
yeah.
What do you say?
No, you're good. I'll shut up.
I yeah. Shut up, Dave. Uh, the I really wasn't that crazy about it, just because I honestly, visually, sound wise, everything about that. Yeah, obviously, it's gonna be up to snuff. It's Blizzard. They do a good job with that kind of thing. But as far as like a storyline and what was actually happening, like I was really confused for like the first several minutes of it because I didn't realize there was much of any backstory at all to Overwatch. I didn't really understand like the dynamic between all these people and what they were trying to do and like who's friends with who, and they're like calling each other in, and they're this team banding to save the world. Um, and I guess that kind of just stems from, I think I was almost predisposed to not liking it because I don't like the implications, I think, of what this means, like in Overwatch 2 for the original Overwatch game, and how that might affect it as like an esport and things like that. I don't know if you want to dive into that right now, if Dave, you had something to say, like your first impressions on it at least, but I do want to touch back on the.
Yeah, for not being like a big Overwatch person, and I mean I understood the backstory like a little bit, but not like a ton. But the or trailer, whatever you want to fucking call it, it was pretty cool. I don't know, like you get sucked in, like you know what I mean. You're like, oh, I don't know. You feel like a connection to the characters, I guess.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
like these guys. You're like rooting for them.
I was like
And you
almost
like,
crying halfway through.
yeah, and
I didn't know what was going on.
yeah,
I didn't even
you
know
like want them to like get together and like be together again and like beat the shit out of like the robots. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was pretty cool. I thought it was very well done.
The story felt a little bit forced to me too, and it seems like with this sequel, they're really focusing on story more with the new like single player or co-op missions that you can play through the story instead of just having that competitive multiplayer format.
Hmm.
Which I mean, it's cool that they added it. Like I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just another feature, but it did feel a little bit forced to me. Like they're definitely trying to build these characters up, um, and give them backstories so that you do care about them versus just playing them in a role in a
Yeah,
game.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was definitely forced, but like any like good longevity, like game that has longevity, you need to have like strong characters with good lore and backgrounds that people like get attached to. Like even like when League of Legends came out, there wasn't like a lot of lore to League of Legends, but now like as it's gotten more and more popular over the years, like they're definitely filling in the story, like the
Hmm.
backstories for the characters and trying to flesh out things a little more to like keep you like engaged. And like I mean, you can't really blame them for that. I think that's
Yeah,
kind of par for the course.
see, I like that. I like your points there with like the story, and I think that is really important. And personally, I really like co-op, versus AI, kind of like campaign kind of games. I enjoy that more than like a shooter, a PvP shooter like Overwatch normally is. But I'm like getting really hung up on like the announcement. They're they're like doing this interconnected multiplayer where the new characters are going to be playable in the original Overwatch, and then like skins are going to carry over to the new one, kind of thing. Like there's going to be this weird merger. Like I just don't see, like, what game do you play moving forward? Do you play the first one? Like all the new maps will be coming out for both of them, as like a competitive esport. Like what's that look like? And I almost feel like
So
these should have been split up, where Overwatch 2 should have been like Overwatch like Best Buddies edition, and you just do like a single player or multiplayer co-op campaign kind of thing, and kind of keep them separate that way.
So I guess one, I love it for the fact that they don't want people who bought number one to get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool, and very commendable, because a lot of games just roll out a sequel. You lose everything that you earned. That money that you spent and the time you put in is down the drain, and that feels really bad. And people don't like that, me included. So I understand like why they're trying to do this, and I like it. But yeah, Adam, to your point, it feels a little weird. Like, why do I want to pay full price for a game that feels a lot like the original when you're going to be merging the clients together eventually anyway? And what does that look like? Do I need to buy two to be on the competitive scene? I don't know. Is one just going to be like a base model where I can play for fun but not have all the features? Is it like an Overwatch Lite?
Yeah,
That's kind of what it feels like to me, but it's definitely a weird sell.
Based on how they were explaining it, to me, it seems like like online PvP is pretty much going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like you're paying more for like the single player content and like the stories and shit. Is what that seems like to me. What it is. Like Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2, like PvP wise, is pretty much going to be the same thing. But like if you want, the story and the PvE shit, you need to pay for 2. That's just that's how it kind of came across to me.
Yeah, which makes sense. I get it. It makes sense, and maybe it'll work. It just feels like almost an unnecessary step, and it might get a little like bogged down, confusing. You could have just had them 2 separate things, and if you're going to introduce new characters in this second game, then it's kind of exciting for the people that own the first game. Like, oh, like they got introduced. Like, well, all right, now they're coming to the competitive scene. Like, all right, now that'll be interesting. I don't know. Now it's like this mashed up nonsense. I'm sure it'll work fine, and who people with 1 will probably be happy, and people with 2 will probably be pretty happy, but I don't know. Still feels unnecessary.
I feel the same way. I think it'll sell really well, though, just because I think people love Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people that play Overwatch really enjoy Overwatch. And like I said, I really don't like Overwatch that much. I've always thought it was like a little bit cheesy and the characters were a little corny. It's definitely more towards like, it's not like for kids. It's not Fortnite, but it's more like kid friendly than Diablo 4.
Yeah.
But it even got me like kind of thinking like, man, maybe I'll get Overwatch 2 and play it for a little while, which surprises me because I normally don't feel that way about games, especially like when I haven't played them prior.
Yeah. That is definitely an allure. Like I said, I like that like campaign, story driven kind of game mode you can play with your friends, which sounds like exactly what that is. It almost seems like it was going to be like a Destiny 2, kind of thing where you're like teaming up against these big baddies kind of scenario, which would be a lot of fun, with enjoyable characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how like once it launches and how like everything like integrates together. I guess we'll see how it actually turns out. But if they really stay true to like letting you keep your skins and like moving shit forward, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of that because even just like games like Call of Duty and shit, like you have all these stats and all these ranks and everything and all these camos, and the new one comes out a year later and everything on that game is now fucking a piece of shit and nobody cares about it. Like, you know what I mean? You have no like roll forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and like to me, like that's important. That's why I played WoW so long, is because like your character is always there. Like you still have all your old achievements and everything. You still have all your old stuff, and it's like you're always like growing your character. It's not like just starting over and like abandoning the old game. I like to like build on myself as time goes on instead of just like starting over every time.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a personal preference.